So today we've got a little Yamaha 4 horsepower in the workshop. Doesn't look in very good condition at all. Owner's bought it in, he's been working on it, couldn't get it to turn over, and then when he tried to strip out the flywheel, he's managed to turn the crankshaft nut the wrong way, snapped it off, so he's broke the end off the crankshaft, and the engine is absolutely, look, there's no spark plug in there at all, and I cannot turn this for love nor money. Whole engine turns, it stays solid. So we're going to have a look at this and see what the crack with it is, see if we can repair it, see if we can get it going again. It's going to make a nice little project. First things first, we've got to try and get this flywheel off of here. It's absolutely sea solid. I'll try a couple of little tricks. Bingo. Now, what we've got to do, take the carb off, fuel line's already off, take the electrics out of there, take this plate off, take the tank off, take all the electronics off, and then under here we have these bolts here that hold the power head to the leg and the body, and we'll take them off as well, and then we should just be able to get the power head off. We'll start by undoing some of the electronics. We'll take the coil off to start with. Not too bad. That's come undone fairly easy. Gets the coil out of the way. Now it's got its earth there, and it's the black and white wire. We'll just pull that out. Now onto the CDI unit. Just undo that, 2 10mm, hold that on. There we go. Little dog see the rabbit. Take them out. Now this will be attached by a wire to the points at the top in that plate, so we'll have to take the plate off next and see what the crack is there. See what this is all attached to. It shouldn't be too bad though, so we'll take the whole plate out, I think. Makes life a bit easier being able to get to it all. Get those nuts and bolts in the box. Here we are, there's another one at the front. If I can get to that, there we are. So I can get in there. Try and take that off. No, it's a spanner job. That's that off and out of the way. I think I just knocked the camera then, but never mind. And this whole thing should, there we are, it's coming out, look. Rattling itself around like a good one. Finish taking this bolt out. There we go, that's out of the way. So that is attached to the choke and the earth there, so that's that out of the way. Simplest thing to do with that, that's only an earth. Snip that off out of the way. All these wires, brown to brown, black to black, red and white to red and white, green and white to green and white. We'll just undo all these. Gives us a chance to inspect the connections. That all comes off, goes in the box. Okay. These will be tight. Need a bigger spanner, a bigger socket even. No, there they go. Normally I only ever use quarter drive on outboards. That's all you really ever need to use. If you need to use anything bigger, generally it's seized anyway. Oh, this smells awful, this outboard. If only you could smell-o-vision it. Smells like, I can't even describe it. Like a dead animal. Oh, it really does smell bad actually. Really is bad. Smells like a dead animal. I think it's been sat in a shed for a very long time after it went in the water. Now this plate should come off. There we go. There we are. Now we can see what we're playing at. This is the end of the crankshaft, and that there is what the guy snapped off, which would have been the threaded end to his crankshaft. Bearings look okay, not too bad. Now we've got to take the carburetor off and the tank, and then we should be able to start taking the power head off and looking at that. Right, next thing's next, disconnect the choke. That's quite easily done. Pull that off of there. There we go. Off and in the box. Right, now it's the two 10mm nuts holding the carb on. So we'll grab our spanner. There's one here at the top, at the bottom, sorry, on this side. This just undoes. You're leaving the reed plate intact for now anyway. And then there's one on this side at the top just here. Just take that off. Can't get a ring spanner in there. That's all it needs. Oh, this is coming off fairly easily. Don't worry about the nuts and bolts, we'll catch them later. Once the carb's out of the way, it becomes accessible. Okay. After that, we need to take off this little throttle linkage. So we do that with a screwdriver. Straight through here, open the throttle as wide as you can. And it should undo like that. There we go. There we are. Just undo it. There, it pulls out. Should have done this first really, but never mind. I should have known. Whip that out of there. And whip that out of there. Just pulls out of there, that goes in the box. There we are, carb out the way. There we are, now we can see about taking the tank off. Proper scabby little outboard this. Let's see if we can't cure it, see what the matter with it is. It's going to be C-solid, so we'll need machining at the very least for a new crank end, which we have the lathe for. There we are, that's the tank out the way. Spare shear pins and a clip. Comes with its very own little ladybird. There we've got 1, 2 and one at the front, 3 just there, and same on the other side. These hold the power head to the leg, so we'll remove that and then the power head should come off. God, this thing's old and decrepit, not even the lock moves. absolutely seized to buggery. But the Japanese, in fairness, did use decent bolts, and always have, so these things generally come apart quite easily. The old Yamis should never ever really be thrown away. I suspect that if we need to put a big piston in it, because we're boring it out, then I suspect there'll be a Yamaha moped or something we can borrow one off for a big bore kit or something like that. Oh, this one's tight. Try a spanner. Oh, that one's seized. After having said they use decent bolts and they don't seize, this one is seized silly. So, try again. There we go. There we are. Absolutely corroded. And the last two, all at the front. I can't get a ratchet on these, so it's a spanner jobby. But it's relatively easy to get off. Not too bad. Oh, it stinks. Also, there's a few dead muscles in the leg that have started rotting. And this side as well. This is definitely a... Well, that one came undone easily. Goodness me. There's only one seized bolt and I managed to undo that quite easily, so we're not doing too badly. Right then, let's see if we can get this power head off. Okay, see if this wants to come off. I suspect it probably won't, but we'll have a go. Seized solid. So we'll have another go in a minute. Oh, I've just realised there's 4 bolts holding the engine plate to the cover. I'll take them off as well. Just to make sure there's nothing holding it in. There's only 2 bolts actually, I believe. Yeah, only 2 bolts hold that on. Okay. So now the big heave ho, see if we can get the engine off its stand. So I'll lever it off. Right, so I think we've solved the problem as to what's wrong with this. I've gone to take this out and this is seized in. It's got 2 bolts, one there, and this should drop out. There is the gear linkage in there that someone has removed. There should be a big plate across that with a bolt on it. There we go. You see where it was, it's not now, I don't know where that is. Someone's obviously had a go at this. So this is seized into the power head. There's a shaft that runs up there. And normally when you service this, to service the impeller, you would just drop these 2 screws out, the leg falls down, and there's a little spline up the top that clips into the power head. It's not held in by anything, it just slides in and out. But that is seized solid, so I'm going to have to try and remove that now. That's going to be an interesting one, not sure how to do that without damaging something, so we'll put a bit of wood on here, I think. And see where we get to. And that has not moved a millimetre, not the slightest little bit, in which case the only method is to strip the gearbox down and see if we can pull a shaft through the head, but I doubt we can do that because normally they've got a flange on there that holds the gear from going up the shaft. So we'll just take this off now and see what we find inside. Nothing too difficult here, just undoes. I do like these silent ratchets. I can't be doing with clicky clicky all the time. Drives me up the wall. See what this brings us. See what we find in here. This might not want to come off, so we'll just tap it off with a hammer. Normally I wouldn't advocate using a steel hammer, but on this occasion, just tap it round. We're going to reface this, so it doesn't matter. There we are, just knock it off gently. Nothing too amazing. And put the screwdriver in the back of here. Very gently just lever it out. There we go. And that's what we found. Okay, so this is the inside of the gearbox. Now I can see that that little pinion, I think, is held on by a split pin. So I'm going to try and get that out. I might not do that on camera because you won't be able to see an awful lot with my fingers in there. There we are. You see it? Split pin there. See if I can get that out, and then that pinion might fall out. But I very much doubt I'll be able to get the shaft out or the leg off the shaft. We'll see. It might just drop off after that. But I think there might be a bit of a lip at the top, but we'll see. I'm not sure because obviously I can't look in there. I've got the impeller as well, which is going to cause a problem. So yeah, I don't know how we're going to get that out because the impeller's locked to the shaft. Hopefully it's on a key, but I doubt it. I think it might be on a pin on this one, in which case there's no way this is going to make any difference whatsoever. So, but we'll do it anyway. Okay, so we've got the little pin off that pinion there, and we'll see if we can get it out. I don't think we'll manage. I think it's going to be locked in by that gear. Ideally you would pull the shaft out the top, and that pinion would drop off, and away you would go. But we're not having any other joy with that, so right, this is going in the box before I lose it. I did think at the beginning that this wouldn't have much joy, but we'll try just very gently levering it off. But no, the bevel of the gear is holding it against that gear, so they're locked together, and there is no undoing it. It's not just going to drop off. No, we're just going to break something if we do that. I have got a little bit of a gap here now, which I never had before, so I might just continue knocking it and see what happens. Okay, so I've had an interesting development. Whilst I was knocking it, it broke the gasket seal here. I've managed to gain an extra 1/4 of an inch, and now it's not doweled onto the base plate. So I'm now going to split this engine here. You see it's already started to spread here and here. I'm going to split this apart, take the crankshaft, warm it up, and see if we can't take the crank off the shaft, and then this should drop off. This should drop off the bottom. So we'll see what happens. Somewhere. There we are. Okay, so got the crank off the shaft with a lot of heaving and pulling, and the shaft is absolutely seized into the leg, will not move. The crank was seized onto the shaft. So yeah, this is our problem, the corrosion here. I'm going to try and heat this up very gently and see if I can get it out. We've got a broken piece of casting there, but I've got the piece of casting. We'll just TIG that back on beautifully. That'll be fine. That's not the end of the world. We can do that. So this is going to be a complete rebuild. I think now we've got this far, we might as well strip it all down, strip the leg down, rebuild the gearbox, rebuild everything, repaint it, and basically have a brand new outboard. Now that this is recessed into there, this has dropped, the bottom of the leg's dropped, so I can get to the impeller. I'm going to take that housing off and take the impeller out, and the shaft should pull through there, and then I can take all the bits off of that I need to take off, and we should, in theory, be able to drop the leg off, at least get it out of the way. They're really tight. This is going to be a long process. I'll take these out bit by bit. I'll stop filming so you don't have to watch me do all this. Okay, so we've managed to get this off of here, and lo and behold, there's the remains of the impeller stuck in the water inlet. So this engine's clearly overheated because that was well and truly blocked. On the engine itself, I've managed to take the impeller housing off, and hopefully if I can force that up enough, we'll get the key out of there and slide the whole lot down over the shaft, because I can't see any reason why it wouldn't come off. So let's have a go at that quickly. There's the key, just a little pin, and this should all slide down now. There we go. And there's the remains of the impeller, chewed up, rock hard. The impeller housing's mushed, damaged where bits of impeller have gone through it, and that's destined for the scrap heap, I think. So we'll get another one of those. It's only a service part anyway, so it's not the end of the world. And now, in theory, this should just come out, and that's your problem. That there, get this in focus, that is so corroded that it's seized on. That's the bottom crankshaft seal for the engine, effectively, and I don't even know if I'm going to bother repairing that. We'll have a go, but I doubt it's repairable. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I've managed to separate these two parts. This is the bottom shaft seal for the main engine. It's hot. Heated it up in the fire. Well, put it on top of the fire on the stove, and when it was hot enough, I just knocked it off with a wooden mallet. Off it came. Eventually, I did have to get it pretty hot though, so that's knackered any seals that are in there. It's so corroded inside, I think I'm just going to replace the thing. I don't think it's worth trying to save, because it's that corroded inside. Oh, it's still hot, I can't hold it. It's that corroded inside that I don't think it's worth saving. Let me have a look inside. Don't know if you can see that. That is seriously mangled in there. And I don't think it's much of a seal anymore, but there we go. It's just a tube at the end of the day, so maybe it's worth boring it out, reaming it, repairing the broken bolt, and then replacing the seals and popping it back on. But we'll see. I might have a spare one. I don't know. But anyway, that was the cause of all this issue. Seized bottom seal. And that is an outboard engine in its component parts, ready to restore, which we'll do over the next few weeks and see where we get to. Make a nice little interesting project, and we'll start at the beginning and work our way through. See you on the next video. I'm just loading up this box with things because every month on our Patreon account we're going to have a giveaway. Now obviously the more people we get signed up, the more often we're going to do the giveaway. This is all stuff I've come across over time. You know, in the course of my work, all sorts of nice little things that I might make a special gift for someone. All sorts of bits and bobs. All sorts of nice little chucks and pin vices. Another good little external micrometer. Don't know who made that one. Oh, Moore and Wright. That's a Moore and Wright one there. You know, tap handles. This is a nice thing. It's like a proper calibrated trammel head with collets in it. I'll make someone a nice present. Lovely set of calipers. I think they're Moore and Wright as well, I'm not sure. A whole box of assorted bits and bobs. Set of spanners. Set of pliers. Set of sockets. A Yankee screwdriver. This is an interesting thing. This is a Coventry die head, so if you've got a lathe, this is really useful for cutting threads. And that's actually a geometric one, so that's quite unusual. It's quite a nice thing, quite sought after. That'll make someone a nice present if they're into their engineering and they've got a small lathe, or it might encourage you to buy a lathe. But anyway, once a month we're going to hold these giveaways, and to start with there'll be small items, you know, set of calipers, or a nice set of files, or a nice set of chisels, or there's a lovely little scraper there. I might put a few engineering bits together. There's a beautiful old dial gauge there. John Bull. All sorts of various little things. Nice little tape measure by Stanley. So we'll give these away to our Patreon subscribers. So best thing to do is get over to our Patreon site. The link's in the description, and sign up. It's not much money, £1 a month, and away we go. We'll hold the first one at the end of the month.